Hey everyone, so in this project I'm going to show the making of this pair of door panels here, from the design that I worked out with my client on the computer through to the finished windows, so showing all the stages involved in the process. I've made these windows to fit my client's new front door that you can see here in this photograph. He's just had this made, so I've made the windows to suit. The first stage of any window project is the glass cutting, and here I'm using some English muffle textured Sussex green glass. Lots of English muffle in this project. I think there's dusky rose, there's Windsor blue, Flaxton tints, some clear, amongst other textures and other colours. I've actually counted up all the glass pieces in this project, and I think there's 346 pieces. So yeah, these are quite an intricate pair of windows, lots of work involved. Here I'm using a piece of orangey red, almost streaky cathedral glass. I use this glass quite a lot. I do like it. It's a great contrast when you're using it in a window with other shades of red, darker shades of red. It just looks really nice and I use it quite frequently. And this one's quite a tricky cut here. This is quite a tricky shape. It's a pale green cathedral I'm using, and it's got quite a tight turn here. So I'll score it a couple of times and remove some of the weight of the curve. You see here I've got one score line on the black line and then one on the inside of the black line. So I'm going to remove some of the weight, so I'm not just trying to break it out in one go. You'll see when I come to break the shape out with the glazing pliers in a second. So as you can see, this first score line here that I'm breaking, this isn't the actual black line, this is just to remove the weight. And then I can get into the curve here now with the glazing pliers, and it just makes the glass, it breaks much easier. You've got much better chance of getting it out in one go, as I did this time here. There you go. Around the outer edge of these windows I'm using a clear reeded glass that you can see here on the drawing. I think it's a 1/4 inch reeded glass by Wismatch. The 1/4 inch sizing refers to the pattern, the ribs in the pattern of the reeded glass. There is different spacings available. You used to see a lot of 1/2 inch, and I think there was a wide one and other different sizes, but the 1/4 inch is the most common. So that's all the glass pieces cut now. I'll lay it out on the bench and we can now lead the window together. These windows will be encapsulated inside double glazed units, essentially triple glazed, and that means I use this special lead edge in here, this outer edge. It has a specific profile that enables the windows to be clamped inside the unit so they don't move around, they're fixed in place. And once I've finished cutting all the lead edge in for the outer edge of the window, then I'll start leading the window up from one side of the window to the other. And in this project I'm using 1/4 inch round lead came in all of the window. The most interesting part of these windows is the centre motif with all the intricate curves, so I'll not bother showing you the straight line sections of the bottom or the top of the window. We'll just concentrate on the centre section here. Starting out with the bending of these circles here, using my trusty wooden discs that I've got. I have a bunch of these in different sizes, fantastic for wrapping lead around so you get a nice smooth circle. This is a tricky little shape here. This is quite a small piece of glass that I'm using here, so having to wrap the lead around it. If you're doing lots of these things, you'll end up with sore fingers. You end up wrapping your fingers with tape, trying to give them a bit of protection. As you can see here, it is a fiddly little section, trying to get all these glass pieces in there. There isn't much room in there, and as always you're trying to be as accurate as you possibly can with the lead work. You don't want any gaps between the lead sections where they join together. Fun fact for you, I actually counted up the amount of lead came that was used on these windows, this pair of windows, and we had 37, just over 37 metres of lead came in total between the two windows. Now to solder the windows together, and before I do that I flux the window, flux all the joints with this flux paste here, and I counted up 1,224 soldered joints, so that's between the two windows on both sides of the windows. So yeah, that's quite a lot of soldering to be going on with. This is one of the reasons why I use this propane gas soldering iron. The shape of it in your hand is much more comfortable than using an electric iron. When you're soldering for prolonged periods of time, you want to be as comfortable as possible. That's the windows leaded and soldered together now, so next it's time to cement them. And now I'm going to force this lead light cement, this mix, into the gap between the glass pieces and the lead came. And once this cement sets, this is where the window gets its strength and it makes it weatherproof against all the elements. Granted, these windows will be encapsulated, so the weatherproof inside doesn't really make much of a difference, but I still always cement my windows, whether they be encapsulated or whether they're just going to be fitted in the traditional single glazed method. then I flip the window over and I do the exact same thing to the other side. And once I've cemented the window, I try to remove as much of the excess cement as possible, and then the window will rest on the bench for a couple of days before I can start the cleaning process. And a few days have passed now, so it's time to start the cleaning process. This process is all about timings, in that you don't want to leave it for weeks on end because the cement will set solid, but you can't rush it either. If you try to clean them too soon, then the cement will sort of ooze through and leak through. It's not had time to dry, so it's all about trying to catch it on that sweet spot where it's just a little bit soft, and then you try and do a little bit of work, and then you put them to one side again for another couple of days. So it is all about timings, this side of the job. And once I've removed as much of the excess dried cement as I can, then I'll apply this black grate polish or black stove polish here. And this stuff, it helps remove the final excess cement, but it also gives the lead came that gorgeous gunmetal grey finish. It also protects the surface of the lead a little bit as well. Naturally the lead's going to oxidise, it is going to darken over time. You'll never see a church window out there or an old stained glass window that's not black. It's going to naturally darken and blacken itself anyway. But yeah, this just gives it a shiny finish. And there we go, complete and ready to go off to the double glazing company for encapsulation inside the double glazed units. And they probably took about 2 weeks in total from start to finish, not including the design time, but that's the making on the bench and getting them cemented, etc. So yeah, ta-da! Cheers for watching.